Hi guys, thanks for joining us again in another episode of Risking It All. Today we're joined by Ross Bryan, Managing Director of Bryans Coaches. So we'll start as we always do, Ross. If you just want to take us back, tell us a wee bit about your childhood and your education and growing up.
I'm Ross Bryans. I'm from Denny. I'm 42 years old. Grew up in Denny, born and bred in Denny.
Tough
Denny.
paper round.
Had the flats and the lift was broken. But I good childhood, like good circle of friends, reasonably good upbringing, no hassle. Good family, cousins, friends, everybody really kind of all together in the kind of same area, same kind of area of Denny.
You get brothers and sisters?
I've got a big sister. She's a nurse. Her name's Lynn, and then there's myself and my mum and dad, and that's about it.
So I've got a theory that most coach operators of our sort of generation, our age, all grew up in the year the same sort of way. So were you very similar to me, playing with the buses pretty much?
Definitely. I would say, like probably yourself, born into the industry. Up there, 6-7-year-old, running about the yard, washing motors, tinkering with things. Probably I was 12 or 13 when I started driving motors, moving motors about the yard and that. So I always been there or thereabout, like yourself, Andy. Yeah. Again, go up on a Saturday morning, help clean motors and all that when you were younger. So.
And who was it that started the business? Was it your dad or another family member?
My mum and dad started the business 44 years ago.
Wow.
With one 16-seat minibus for the house.
Right.
And they've just built it up for there. It got at the biggest it got was 22 vehicles.
Right.
But never again. It was a different beast. I remember going into the yard one day and I gospel, like there's folk in the yard, and I'm saying to myself, I don't know if you're actually employed here or are you in to pay a bill or who's going on. Like. So I never going up to that size again. But fair play to my mum and dad for building it up to what it was like.
What about, I don't want to skip over it that quickly, how was school for you? How were you in school? Were you an academic? Or?
No, far from it. I wasn't keen on school and school wasn't keen on me. But I done it. I done it. I mean, I went to school. We would have like general credit foundation rows.
Yeah.
I found myself in the kind of general row most of the time. Maybe for maths it was foundation, like enough, But no, again, it was more, I enjoyed school because you were going there and getting your mates, playing football at the break and that. I didn't actually like school much.
I can totally picture you as a class clown. Well, that would be my take on you.
A wee bit like it, a wee bit. But that was the thing too. A lot of my mates went to college and uni. There was no chance that was happening. So I was leaving school set on that I was going to work.
So when you left, so school wasn't for you, I guess is what we're saying. You left school. Were you of the mindset that you wanted to join the family business, or were you the same as Andy initially and thinking, no, I'm going to forge my own path and it's not for me?
Well, I kind of forged my own path. To start with, while I was at school, me and my mate James, we done a better way around. So selling plastic boxes and all that. Oh man, that was fun, but see, going and charting folks' doors, no way.
Was it Tupperware?
Well,
Tupperware?
Selling face cream and Tupperware and all that. Okay. And, we were at neck, you were at the house and the one was like, oh, what's the face cream? And you're standing on the door demonstrating it. So done that. But see, when you start doing that, you get a wee bit of money about you, and you're still at school, and you're going out and you've got a pair of rock pots on because you've got, and you get the kind of bug that you want a wee bit of money, So I was still at school, doing the better way at night, and I took a Saturday job in the local garage, James Ryan Auto Care, and again it was brilliant. I learnt a lot there. James was a great gaffer, really fair, but he would kick your hole if you'd done something but I learnt a lot off him. So again, working in the Saturday in the garage, I decided I was wanting to be a mechanic. And my dad was like, well, if you're going to come into the family business, you're going to get a trade anyway, so that would be the trade. So I never even got a job interview. I've never even had a job interview in my life. Like, I left school, I was working at James Ryan's on the Saturday morning, and James said to me, just start. So I left school. Obviously it was all set up and that, but I finished school on the Friday and I started with James Ryan on the Monday, and that was it. 3 or 4 year apprentice, I think it was at the time. Really enjoyed it, and went away one week out every month for training to Lagder College, and again I hated that. I hated the college. You had to do it, but I hated it.
You do get so. I definitely believe that you're either an academic or you're no. Like, I'm the same as you, mate. Even before I left my kind of corporate career to join Barry, when they would send you on, like, you know, like a maybe like a change management course, you think, like, this will be brilliant for my CV. And then you'd get the dreaded, like, homework at night, and you'd be like, I cannot be fucked with this one bit. I just don't want to do it. I'm enjoying the actual practicality of being there, learning what I'm learning, putting it into practice, but the actual sitting down and writing and doing homework and then having to do a test, it's like, I just think you either enjoy that kind of thing or you don't.
I was exactly the same. I would happily stand outside in the rain, getting wet, sorting a motor or doing something, but I would rather that than sitting in a classroom, like,
Yeah.
really.
And was there anything about being a mechanic that you thought straight off the bat, this is for me?
No, just fancied it, and I just liked it. Been in the workshop, getting the banter with the boys and that, like, I really liked it. So I liked it that much that I thought I'm going to get a bash myself. So that was the kind of start of it. So I bought a van and set up Coaches Central Limited, and that was the kind of first, if you might call it a business, like, I got kind of lucky because I'm mates with Ian, and Ian joined me with a van, and then it was 2 vans, and then all of a sudden it was 3 vans.
What were you doing?
Maintenance for coach. So we were going out to other coach operators, bus operators, and we were doing their maintenance for them.
So you were before wardrobe, you were coach tech before wardrobe?
No, I was coach 8, I was coach 8.
I didn't realise that.
And it was good. It only lasted 4 years, but I shut it down myself, like, but it was difficult because, like, my dad was in the business, and then I'm going out sorting, me and Ian were going out sorting other folks' motors and that, and it's like, so I decided, right, like, again, this is good, but I need to get another thing to do here. So my dad says, well, come into the business. So he had a manager at the time, wee Johnny Nichol, and Johnny got cancer and died. So my dad says, well, come on board, kind of thing. I thought, right, all right. So everybody was telling me, didn't work with your family. Didn't work with your family. So I thought, right, so we spoke, I thought, right, I'll give it a bash. And lasted a bit and it didn't really work out. So I set up RB Coaches Limited.
Wait, just before you skate over that, why did it not work? What's so difficult about working with family?
Oh man, like, what I realise now is everybody wants the best for the business, but everybody's got their own ideas, like, and it's hard. Like, it's like you can hear an argument, a shouting match on the Friday, and then you're going down to my mum's for your Sunday dinner, and you're like, your dad passes all the salt, and next thing you're getting the salt dish rattled after him. It's difficult working with family. Like, that's one of the hardest things, I'd say.
100%. Aye.
And how long did it take you to realise, I can't do this, I can't work with my family?
No, I wouldn't say I can't do it. It was just a bit of a fallout. So, but it was difficult, right, because our coach aid, and they were vans, but they were based at Bryans Coaches yard. And when I put RB Coaches on the road, it was 2 service buses, and I was renting a bit of yard off my dad. So everything was kind of round about Bryans Coaches, So
it was the second one called
RB Coaches.
RB Coaches. And was that just a standard coach company?
My dad was in the coaches, and what happened at the time was there was a company in Denny called Goosecroft Coaches. We were pally with them, we worked together and that, no hassle, and Jim decided to shut that down, and he run Denny to Stirling services. So when he shut it down, everybody local was saying there's no services, so Jim was like, there's what I'm making, can cover shot at it. So I decided to set up RB Coaches put on the 2 service runs, down to Stirling, and it just kind of worked like,
Right, okay.
Was your Bryans, were they running services at that point, or were they primarily coaches?
So what it was Bryans Coaches were running tendered services for the council. So they would put the tender out, you put the price in, you just operate it on their behalf kind of thing. My dad wasn't too keen in setting up a commercial service where it's all your responsibility.
Right.
And there was like nobody else in there, and I was kind of young and daft, and I thought, I'll hear this, like, but they knew, like 20 years later, I wouldn't go and put a service run on there.
No.
But at the time, I'm like, I need to film my bits. Like,
I've got a few questions about service runs, but I want to go back to that whole situation then. So, technically, looking through a lens of somebody that wasn't part of it, that person who decided to shut down was a competitor of your dad, technically, or a local bus company.
Aye.
But I think that's really interesting because it shows you, because a lot of people see competitors and go, I don't want any relationship with them, they're a competitor. Whereas in your scenario, got on really well, collaborated, and then ultimately they let you take over the business. Is that right?
Well, no, they take over their business. We just put on the service run when they wound it back in, like. But
so were you competing against your dad's business at that point?
No. None of us ever competed. Like Goosecroft Coaches were in the next yard. Like there was only a fence separated.
Right,
okay. Shout to each other.
Right, okay.
And it was always a banter. Like I'd go down and into their workshop, they'd come up into their workshop, and things like that.
Yeah.
But there was never any animosity. Like they stopped the services, and the people around about Denny were looking for a service to Stirling, because they weren't really want to use other folk services.
Right, okay.
So just what you're saying, I just thought I'll hear a bash, I'll try it, and I tried it and just kind of went for it.
That's brilliant. I think that's a great sort of example of how, just building relationships with other business owners can lead to something. On the service run, right, because again, I'm a total noob when it comes to the coach industry, right? The service run, I don't really know what that means. So talk to us a wee bit about
service runs like 240, 255. You jump on, pay your fare, and you go from A to B.
Got you.
So you get 2 different types of them. They've got one that local authority says that there has to be a bus that runs from View Park to Uddingston to cater for the community. Then they go out and say, who's going to do this and how much are you going to charge us? Or you have the other scenario that Ross took on with RB, where he says a gap in the market, people want to go from Denny to Stirling and it's difficult today, so I'll run a bus and I'm then hit for the commercial success of that.
Got you. And was there any reason your dad wasn't keen on it?
No, he had the tender services and the coaches.
He was all done more experienced.
I was just going to say he kind of knew better than to get involved in that.
I feel like there's some further story about this run for Denny. Is there anything that's hard about it? No,
it's just, as I said, it went on, and I think we run it for about 13 years.
Oh, wow.
So at that time, it got a wee bit big. It got a wee bit complicated because I had Coach Aid Central with 3 vans, 3 staff, RB Coaches with 2 motors doing the service runs, and I was also kind of working with Bryans Coaches because you're in the year, then you just end up. You're in the year, then you're in hanging. Somebody was out, there's a school run in cover. You didn't have a choice. You just went and done it. So you were kind of working there, and it was just. It was a lot, like
it sounds like hell, to be honest.
It was more the coaching bit, like because Ian was brilliant, and I was there, but you were getting phoned at like 2 o'clock in the morning because another operator had a motor broken down. And at the time, I didn't have any kids, like but it was causing a wee bit kind of like I was out the house a lot and that.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be doing that when the kids came along. So. Again, I wasn't really at Bryans Coaches, but it all just kind of came together. So I shut down Coach Aid Central, brought the mechanics into Bryans Coaches, and then I had RB Coaches, and then I started officially with my dad kind of into Bryans Coaches when wee Johnny passed away.
Right, okay. How long ago was that?
Oh, mate. I was having a wee think about this, so I think Coach Aid Central Limited, I was about 23, 24, and then RB Coaches, I was 26, 27.
Right, okay.
And I was 29 when I kind of went into Bryans Coaches.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So you've then joined the family business officially. Was it straight back into, oh God, like arguments, this is tough, or was it a bit easier this time around?
It was, we got it set up. So my dad was dealing with his bit and I was dealing with my bit, and it was fine. And it was fine. The office was fine, the workshop was fine, but it came to when there was a decision to be made. It was just hellish. Again, and again, it's no badness. Everybody wanted the right, everybody had the right idea, but you was just not like, and it's different with a company. You're sitting in with directors, it's just different. You're sitting opposite your dad and your mum, that, and you
go fuck up your dick. A lot easier than you can in a professional manner. It does happen.
Like Sandy will get it, like, so you're sitting there in a professional manner and you're discussing, it gets a bit heated, but see when you're sitting on the table with your family, everybody's just fuck you, fuck that, I'm not, you're a prick, and it just gets with a hand.
Madness,
it's madness, mate, madness. And there's just no filter, like, and it does. I say things I shouldn't have said. Everybody says things, and you're like, oh man, I can't believe that, like, but everybody wanted the best, like, that's the thing, mate. Like, my mum and dad started this for their house, 42 years, and there I'm coming along like, here, give the keys, you down the road, I'll run this, like, no chance again. So I felt I had to kind of prove myself that I was able to do it, like,
So how did you do that? How did you prove your worth, I guess, whenever you joined? Like, is there a couple of maybe milestones that you can think of?
What I done when I was a mechanic, I went and sat for my bus licence and my coach licence, and I went for my truck licence as well. The reason that I saved up money to get my coach licence, and then my dad said I'll pay for it. Obviously the company was paying for it, so I had the money, so I went for the truck licence as well, and it's probably the best thing I ever done. I ended up, I was working in James Ryan's Monday to Friday, and I was driving tippers at night on night shifts, but that got me the money to start up Coach Aid Sentinel and that, so and again I had great fun driving the tippers at night and that. Honestly, what a hoot on the road playing and that. A lot of shady things seen there, like a lot of shady things, but that beds well for down the line. Like, you're going to say, I'm not going to do that, like, because that's the and you think, oh wow. But I picked up a lot of experience off the tools and off the tipper driving to then take into the coat, like, to then take into my dad's side, like, because Andy will tell you the same, old school. Right? I'm not saying it was illegal or anything, but they just had the right to do it. And I've walked in there and, like, you're like, holy fucking, what the fuck are you doing? You can't, and he's like, how not? He's like, you can't legally do that. Well, my fucking name's on the side of it, so I'll just do what I want. And I'm like, whoa. and so I was like, that's canny. I'm like, you can't fucking operate like this. So I says, what I'm going to do is I'll go and get my transport qualifications for the transport manager. I says, get the company to pay it and I'll do it, and then and he says, right, I need, but because I don't know about your old man, but my dad never sat the qualification to be a transport manager. He got it through grandfather's rights.
Aye.
Right, but I mean, I'm no disrespect to the guys, like, but
how much percentage do you think you knew of the course? Because my dad was not very much.
So again, on that front, what does that mean? What's grandfather rights?
Grandfather rights, so it just means that you've been running a coach company for so long, and then they brought in a qualification. Now you have to go and sit a transport manager's course. It's an actual qualification, similar to like your change manager's course or Prince or that then allows you to have a coach company or a logistics company. Aye, to be a transport manager, and every company needs a transport manager.
Right, okay.
So because your dad had a
because he had the coach company, they just go, you know what you're doing. Nobody comes out and goes, do you know what you're doing, Wally?
Was that nobody checked then? They were like, you can't use it. So it wasn't, I mean, as I say, it wasn't illegal, it wasn't badness or that, but you're like, holy fuck, you can't do that. So I thought, like, this is my chance. I'll go and I'll get, because I'm no bright at school, I thought I'll go and get my qualifications. So I'll tell you a wee story, like, I'm going to get myself in the ball here because I shouldn't say this, but
go for it. So it's only us three that are listening.
There's nothing else about the course was in Purfleet in Essex, right? So I said that I'm going to go down and stay. So the course was the Monday, the Thursday, and the exam was the Friday. So gets in the motor, shoots down there on the Sunday, into the course on the Monday morning. So right away there's a guy sitting there, Graham, I'll tell you the coach company after. So he's feeding that way, and I'm from Scotland. So we just kind of clicked and got in tow. And so the end of the first day of the course, he's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Back to the hotel." He's no sitting in the hotel yourself. We'll go for a beer. So a couple of beers, bit of studying. So that went on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the Thursday, he says, same night, kind of a couple of beers. We'll let our hair down a wee bit. The exam's tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So says, right, no boss. So again, my father's paid for the course and paid for the hotel. And that. So we're down.
I know you too well.
We're down at Purfleet, and we've got a bite to eat, a couple of drinks. So I swear to God, like it just got a wee bit out of hand. The exam was 11 o'clock on the Friday night, so about 10 past 12 we kind of woke up on his room floor. And I'm like, I didn't fucking believe this. Like, I'm down here to do this course and I've actually fucking missed the exam, like absolutely stupid. So we goes to where the exam was, and I was like, you're fucked up. You two have missed the exam, and that's it. And it's every like 4 months. So I was like, fuck it. So
so
the other
straight
guys,
away you're thinking, what am I going to tell my dad?
so I'm like, holy fuck, I've fucked out. So one of the other guys was on the course, he came out laughing, and he was like, "Oh, unbelievable." So he says, "Do you kind of this is not as two as we're ghastly." So at Purfleet, there's a place that they do the darts and that, right? But there wasn't darts on. It was strippers that were on, right? So we all ended up in there. And the 2 hours are up on the stage, baby oil, squishy cream and everything. And the place is full of truckers and darts players, man. And totally missed the exam and that. So again, I had to leave it like 4 or 5 weeks. I'm up the road, and I went into the office, so I got that letter and I said, "I fucking failed that exam, and just left it at that." So rebooked it for like 4 months and later, and went back down, and I thought, no, that's it, like I need to fucking wind this in.
Did your partner in crime go to the same one again?
No, never seen them again, thank God. Total kind of, I thought I need to screw the nut, like this is my chance, I need to screw it. So I went down and I screwed the nut and I got it, and I ended up going back down, and I done it for the haulage side as well. So I got so I can do the haulage side as well.
Right.
And I think that kind of maybe my dad went, well, he's keen, he's went there, and kind of was willing to go and sit the exam and that, and I think that kind of proved that I was willing to take it on, kind of thing.
If I've learned anything through talking to people that are like taking over a family business, it seems to just be that the main issue to overcome is one of like confidence and trust. As you say, it's took him 40 years to build it up. It's not a case of, right, I'm here now, geez the keys, catch you. It's like instilling that trust and confidence that I know what I'm doing. Do you know, like I've put in the hard yards. And
just on that as well, just thinking as you were saying that, Brian, do you think the timing of you going, joining the business properly, the timing of it, having ran all those other businesses and being a mechanic, do you think that was the right time to make an impact?
I would say definitely. I took a wee. My mate owns a local pub in Denny, and I used to do Saturdays in there as well, just helping him out and extra cash and that. But that helped as well, because I used to be a wee bit quick-tempered and that. Well, not quick-tempered, but I'd done a wee bit, never a fighter, but I'd done a wee bit Muay Thai, kickboxing, things like that. So usually kind of jump in first instead of thinking first. When you take a job in the pub that teaches you to deal with folk, drunk folk and that, and you get to learn, don't jump in first, because you'll get a punch in the mouth. Like you learn to, and I think working in the pub and dealing with drunk folk and dealing with folk and that, it really helped in the business and dealing with that side of it. And it calmed me down a wee bit, and I think he's seen that, and it was a wee bit there. But like you're saying, he's no got it 44 years, like that's his baby, like that's you'd go away on holiday with Irish checking in, that he's not just going to walk away, he's not just going to trust somebody with that, like that's the thing.
And what's the bread and butter of Bryans Coaches? Is it school contracts, is it private hires, is it a mixture
like a mixer? You need to kind of keep your finger in every pie, like with home to schools, private hire, cruise ship work, airport transfers. If it pays you do it, like if it pays you do it, like Andy will tell you the price of the coaches is just phenomenal. Like it's frightening now. So you can't have it parked up. You need to work it. I mean, we're looking at a new one for this year, and 270 grand for a new coach.
How many seats is that?
53 seat exec.
What's the typical payback on that? Like, how long is it before you're washing your face of buying a new bus?
Well, I personally, I would take that on finance for 6 years. So you're looking at roughly 3.5, a month, something like that.
Right, okay.
But I'll pay it over 6, and now I'm looking to run it at least 10, 12 years. So, but again, our industry's changing, like low emission zones, PSVR for disabled dissemination. It's coming, so you need to move with the times, or you're going to get swallowed up like it.
So would that new bus that you're looking at, or new coach you're looking at, would that fulfil that low emissions zone and allow you to get in the town centres and stuff like that? Yep. Right, okay.
So we're quite fortunate because we're now sitting with a fleet of 7 and a staff of 10. It's manageable. As I say, my dad's been up to 22 and that. It's no feasible like it. But the biggest thing is staff, like is trying to get decent staff and decent drivers and boys that aren't going to let you down and things like that.
Have you noticed that post-COVID that's been more of a challenge?
Aye, definitely.
Seems to be a running theme of that.
Definitely. I think people have been in the house and getting time with their family, but are they wrong? Because they're no wrong, because I seen it. Obviously the coaches were all packed up, so I was dumping on the trucks doing a wee bit. But see, getting time with the family and that, a big difference, like getting down the road at night and that. I mean, a day, I spoke to Andy about this before, a day try and get down the road for 4:30, getting 5 o'clock every night. Now and again you can't, mate. The phone goes, problem. A couple of months ago, we had a driver taking no well Oban. So I'm up at Oban at 2:30 in the morning, because that's what you do, because there's nobody else to do it. And you've missed the weigh-in, missed the wee man scouts, and you can, you're going to get grief when you go in for the misses and that. But what do you do? You need to go. Again, you can't leave the motor sitting in Oban at 2:30 in the morning, so that's it. You grit your teeth and you go.
But then I know you're similar to me, because we've spoken about it before, where both of us have grown up in the same way, where everything was all 100% focused on the business, whereas we've went, it can't be for us. And I know you've just said you prioritise getting up the road to spend time with your family, and that's a conscious decision that you need to make, because if you didn't, you would be stuck there all the time. There's always something to be done.
Definitely, hit the nail need. Like at the moment, it's a kind of quiet time, so you're all right. But in the busy time, I can go up in the morning, make sure everybody's out and that. I'll maybe nip back down, take my own 2 kids to school, go back up in the office all day. Like Andy's saying, you need to be there. It's just a funny industry. But again, I'll go down the road at 4:30, 5 o'clock, get my dinner, see the weigh-ins, and then I go back up at 8 o'clock for a couple of hours if I need to. But before, I was going up to my work, and then that was me. And there were some days I was all day, all night, and then going home the next day, and it wasn't going to happen. Like, it was never going to happen. But again, everybody has to do that. You're starting up a business, you need to get knuckled down and do that. But you can't continue to do that.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. I was always told that if you're running your own business, you've got to do it for 2 reasons. 1, to give yourself a better life, or 2, to make yourself millions of pounds. If you're not getting one of the 2, you're as well going to take a job with somebody. That's what I've always been told, like, so whether I'm right or not,
that resonates with me. I think just about everyone we've spoke to, and amongst ourselves, always battle with the challenge of switching off their business and knowing what's needing done today and what can actually be done tomorrow. And I struggle with that a lot. How have you got any tips about how you sort of move from working every hour every day to being a bit more strict with when you're in and out? Is there any things that you prioritised above?
I find I need to keep myself kind of busy. I don't like sitting about it. But it's hard. It's like a Saturday morning, daughter does horse riding, so she's to be there at 9:30. You go up maybe there's 3 motors going out in a cruise boat, and you go up there at 7:30. One's got a problem. You've got an option. I've got to stay and solve this problem. If I stay, the Wayne's going to miss her horse riding. What do I do? And then you're trying to, so you go, you flee down, you drop the weight at the horse line, you flee back to try and get to the problem. But again, everybody you just need to do it, like it.
Yeah.
But then the next again weekend, there's maybe nothing on, and you've got the full weekend with the family.
Yeah.
Again, just like I said there,
swings and roundabouts.
one Thursday night you're up in Oban at 2:30 in the morning, passing the rain, soaking wet, thinking, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Again, and then the next again Thursday, you're finishing at 3:30 in the afternoon, down the road, taking the wings to McDonald's. Whereas if you were working for somebody, you would be 8 till 5, Monday to Friday. That's not me, like, I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that.
And I guess for any budding coach owners that are out there, other than just don't do it because you'll end up with as much grey hair as I've got.
That's no grey hair, mate. That's wisdom highlights. That's wisdom highlights.
I like that one, wisdom highlights.
Sorry, any advice?
For anybody that's out there thinking, right, I could get myself a bus and do what your family have done or what Andy's family have done. What's the sequenced advice you would give them to go for having a bus to scaling that into something that's maybe not necessarily massive but large enough to give them the lifestyle that they're after?
Like to start with, if somebody was going to start in this industry now, and it's probably the wrong thing for me to say, but I'm going to be honest with you, if somebody came to me now and said I'm going to put a coach on the road, I would tell them to wind their neck in and forget it. Because our industry's in a no say it's not in a good place, but it's just hard. It's difficult to explain.
It's really hard. It's a difficult industry to get into. Obviously, you've talked about how much your new coach is costing you. I tend not to buy new because I just find it better. But I bought one, it was $100,000 just after Christmas there, and that was for a 2015 plate. Do you know what I mean? So that's nearly 10-year-old and I'm still spending $100,000 on it. So Ross's 270 looks good on that basis because they're relatively odds of value. But if you're going to buy a bus or a coach to come and compete in that industry, not very many people have got $100,000 lying about. Another problem with it is there's a prescribed amount of money per each vehicle that you have to have in a bank account separate from your operating costs.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So at any point the traffic commissioner can come to me and say, Andy, you need to show me 250, 300 grand for all the licences that you have. And I go, alright, wonderful.
But you can't, Andy's not got a bed though. Him and his missus just lying all their money. So when the commissioner phones up saying, where's the money? Andy just takes him to the bedroom.
So they seem to be Breaking Bad. Just pull the sheet off.
Do you know what I mean? The coach industry is really, really strange, and that's why you don't see lots of new people coming in. Do you know what I mean? The majority of new companies tend to be like Ross, somebody whose family are in it and go, I'm no want to be right with you, but I'm going to be at the side.
So see that whole keeping money in a bank per vehicle, what do you think the rationale is for that?
So that you've always got money to maintain it. So the vehicle breaks down, you have a set pot of money that you can maintain it, and it means that you then don't cut costs. So if you've not got money and they go, what are you going to do? You're not going to operate that school run, or are you not going to fix the brakes? Like, what do you do? So it's
safety,
a safety aspect of it. Not that saying that people have the money and maintain them the way they should. Some folks still don't do that, but that's the sort of rationale behind it.
Right. So if you're buying a bus for $100,000, let's say, right, and I don't expect you to go into, real detail in the finances of your entire business, right? But to give, I guess, people like me that don't have a clue about the coach industry a flavour for, I buy a coach for $100,000. What can I, and let's say, for example, I'm doing a mixture of kind of a bit of council work and then some private hire work. I'm just keeping the bus as busy as I possibly can. What can I expect to turn over in a year with one coach?
Well, it's difficult. There's no one coach. That's
the problem.
Run it with one coach. That's the problem.
You need two. So you need two, and you need two drivers. So you'll be one driver, but you need somebody else, which then means that person drives. So they need to get a wage for that's
Why do
the
I
problem.
Need two? Is that just
because if it breaks down, what do you do?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And the weird thing, you touched on it earlier on, was our industry's really funny where, although we're competitors, there isn't very many people that I don't get on with in the industry, and them that I've used a direct competitor, and everybody, or most people I know, help me out. Do you know what I mean? I've helped Ross out. Ross has helped me out. Do you know, Ross is stuck. Last year I'm going to blow my own trumpet here, Ross. Phones me up in June, busiest month of the year. He's like,
out the door, like,
Andy, can you help us out? Can you cover a cruise boat job tomorrow? No, Ross, I'm fucking flat out. But I've got a bus. You want to come down and pick it up? So he comes down, picks up my new Turismo that I had bought, takes it up, does the job, brings it back the next day. Do you know what I mean? And that is the industry through. Nobody likes to see MDL stuck.
Because it could be you tomorrow.
It's you tomorrow, you know what I mean? So people for Ireland have broke down and phoned me up and been like, I've broke down at freaking East Kilbride, can you help us out? I no bother.
Is that always was that the case with your dad's generation, for example?
So
that's
always been the case.
As I've always been told, is if somebody's stuck, if you can help, you go, because see tomorrow, it could be you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's quite refreshing.
It's different. Again, we've seen the haulage as well. The truck breaks down, the guy's on a lay-by driving it, he drunks into the bunk. It's no nice, but it's doable. The coach breaks down in the same lay-by. I've got 50 folk.
Aye.
Right, and if they 50 folk have got a wee drink in them and then they start getting out on a road and it's
dangerous.
Like even like see if I was driving down the motorway and I seen a coach in the hard shoulder, the first thing you're doing is pulling in a hand and going, you want me to take you to the services? Where you going? I'll shift your passengers.
Right, okay.
I mean, we get called to go to a breakdown last summer, and it was somebody just past Hart Hill Services, and one of our drivers went away up, picked the passengers up and took them into Glasgow City Centre, and it was Thai lady boys with 50. It was Big Pete went in and picked him up. 50 Thai lady boys. He's like, "You's all lady boys?" Like, seriously?
I actually had a question about what's the most bizarre hire you've had. So that must be up there if you get in to beat that.
I don't know. I can't really think off the top of my head. Like, there's been a few belters like. I can't really think anything like that off the top of my head.
That sounds like a tough one to beat, to be fair.
That was bizarre.
Maybe coming back to your story, so you rejoined Bryans again. Were you working initially collaboratively with your dad, or do you still work collaboratively to this day, or have you fully taken over?
No. I was running RB Coaches, and then I eventually just started with Bryans Coaches. So I was started with Bryans Coaches. He was bringing him in to run it day to day, and I was running RB Coaches at the side myself.
Right, okay.
But let's be honest, RB Coaches, it was 2 discs, Monday to Friday, Denny to Stirling service with 2 drivers. It was basically running itself. Again, I was just over. It wasn't there. You had to be there, but it wasn't the end of it. And then we were concentrating on Solo and Bryans.
Right, okay.
Coaches, I say Coaches Centre, we just kind of shut that down and we moved the mechanics in, so nobody lost their job or anything. It was just moving folk about, really.
Right, got you. And I know you've mentioned like services, weddings, school runs, or private hires, all the rest of it. Is there any? I've probably got 2 questions here. Is there any hires that you used to love doing in regards to yourself, or they were just good money makers? And is there any ones that are a nightmare?
I would, growing up, I would do anything, like go away on tour, local stuff, but I preferred then like the late night stuff and the bit where you get a bit of banter.
That surprises me. That sounds like hell to me. See it doing wedding runs, and even as a guest, I hate getting on wedding buses now because it's just chaos. It's carnage. Like,
it depends.
It depends. Like, so if I had a job that like one was a day tour and another one was like 30 lasses to Shanghai Shuffle, I'd be taking the Shanghai Shuffle. And I'm not just saying that like I'm no one the hoity-toity Joe, but that you need to watch your P's and your Q's. I'm doing the other one. Oh, get the baby, let's go and let's go. We're going to Shanghai Shuffle. That's me, like and then you can take your cruise ship over and get to one of the drivers. Like, I'm not interested. But like stuff I'd done today now. Is like not so much wedding, but like late nighty like club stuff and that.
Right.
Been there and done it, like and they're coming out and they're absolutely wellied at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're trying to fight you and that. But again, working in the pub, it got you.
Accustomed to.
And have you had any like real, like you say try to fight you? Have you had any you or your drivers actually get into any bother with passengers? Anybody?
We actually stopped doing wedding returns for a while. The drivers got a work ticket, all the drops, all the pickups, everything's in the work ticket. All our motors are CCTV'd and all of them have got trackers. So the driver does the route But the problem with wedding buses is it's your wedding, you book the bus, but you're not on the bus.
Aye.
Right, so the driver's doing the drops and you'll stop here. No, I've got my list. No, you'll stop here. No,
Aye, I've seen that in action. Aye.
But, out of hand, so they've started on the driver and spat in his face.
Oh God, man.
Now, for me personally, go and punch me in the face, right? Then he spat in my face, and that's what my fare said. So again, 1:30 in the morning, I'm out, my fare's out, policy's out, and it was a total embarrassment. There was one idiot in the bus, and you've left 30 folks now. Again, because he one fucking idiot in it, right? But no, right, like got to your work and somebody spat in your face because you wouldn't stop and drop them off. Nah.
Maybe not so much the spitting in the face, because that's obviously pretty extreme, but I think in every industry, even in ours, right, it couldn't be any different to yours on the face of it. But actually, when you break through all of the bluster, there's certain clients that you love to work with and you're happy to take their money all day, and there's others that you go, it's just not worth the money because I can't be fucked with the grief. Do you know that way? I think I'm new to business. I've always worked in a corporate job until very recently, but I think the thing I'm enjoying most, or one of the things that I'm enjoying most, is being able to determine who I work with and who I don't work with. Because when you're in a corporate world, you can't really make that call. You're a number, you're an employee, you work with whoever you're told to work with. So I don't know whether it's like there's some comparables there in terms of like at some point you're saying actually weddings, let's just get a buy for now because we don't want to get spat in the face. We're just trying to do a job.
But at the same time, as I say, you can't take every wedding on the back of that. It's no the wedding, it's no the football hire, it's no the...
It's the Egypt.
It's the Egypt. It's Joe Public, like it's... And you, as I say, you can't no day weddings because of one or two idiots or whatever, but...
I've got a question on, you've mentioned a couple of times we tried to scale, we were up to 20 odd and never again, so talk to us a bit about that. It sounds like you were ambitious, you got there and it was a bit like, oh God, this is just too much.
Right, what happened there was again another local company, GB Coaches in Bonnybridge. Jack wanted to retire, so he approached my dad, and he also had a son, John, who's older than me. Again, we all worked together, so Jack came to my dad and says, you buy him out, the deal is you look after John. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm a run. Again, my dad's like, we'll have a look at it, and I'm like, no, fuck it, we're run. So the deal, this is what I'm saying about folk being at offices and shop and tie and all that. Me and my father bought a coach company in the car park at Bonnybridge Health Centre. and we were sitting in the back of Jack's Renault 19 and my father and him done the deal in the car park in the back of his Renault 19, and my father bought his bus company, bought his coach company after. So we went from 12 to 18 in the space of a week.
It's a big jump.
And then the other 2 or 3 motors that came was spare motors, because you're sitting with 18, you'd need a couple of spare.
What are you buying? Are you buying contracts as well as vehicles?
We bought everything. So we took the contracts, the goodwill, the operators, the name of the company, the phone number. We took everything.
Right, okay.
So did you run them off of Denny, or did you split it between Denny and Bonnybridge?
We tried to keep it a split between Denny and Bonnybridge, but again, you couldn't. You had 2 depots.
You had 2 depots, so you need 2 sets of eyes.
It wasn't happening. So we drew everything back up to Denny. But again, then it was carnage because
22 motors in there's tight
in that year and all that. But you're saying 22 motors. I mean, I think 4 or 5 of them were 16 seaters, and then a couple of 33 cans, so they were all tucked away.
And what was the dynamic of that like? Because see, when you're talking about your dad's business and it was his baby, you've pretty much bought someone else's baby with their son still there. So how was that at the start?
No, that was fine. John came on board, and John was kind of day-to-day manager as well, kind of in a position, and he had the experience as well, because obviously with his dad. And it just kind of worked. I mean, all the drivers came. There was no hassle. I think we got lucky, but it was a beast. It was like.
Did you end up, when you got to that position where you thought, oh, this is a bit bigger than we want? Did you sell it off, or did it happen organically, where just one bus went, another bus went?
Organically. So again, what we done was we kind of up the prices and put two coaches away for one. The 2 older ones for 1 newer one, kind of thing, and just slowly. I'd say, I've spoke to Andy before, I'd say our magic numbers like about 12, 13 motors, maybe 14, but I'm happy with that at the moment.
I've got a question on, I guess you two are the only real coach operators that I've ever really spoke to about running a coach business, right? But both of you seem to be similar in the sense that you're saying, like when we said to Andy, and we'll ask you the same question shortly, like what does the next 10 years hold for you? You get a sense that it's, I just want to squeeze more out of what's there already. I don't want to go big. Why is that? Why would a coach operator not go, I want a yard in Aberdeen, I want a yard in Uddingston, I want a yard in, like, why is there no ambition to, I guess some might have and I've just not spoke to them, but for you personally, why is that? Is it just the grief just isn't worth it?
I've never operated 2 separate yards, but I'd imagine it would be really difficult to manage exactly what's happening. Do you know what I mean? I've said to you before, look, I'm in the office, not as much new as I was 5-6 years ago, but generally you're there all the time, and if you're not there, you're scooting in and out, and you're always present to see what's happening. So once you spread that further, you've got less control over what's happening, and as soon as you've less control, then things happen the way you don't want them to. And everybody's, you know, as Ross said, everybody's got their own ideas. I've got my way that I like to work, and that, you know, Ross will have his way. So I think it's not having the direct control, just lets things go loose. And it's, you know, you've got really expensive kit, both in the garage and on the road. You've got more vehicles on the road. Shouldn't really say it, but the old adage is, as soon as you get more motors, you take on jobs you don't want to do, and you employ folk you don't want to employ.
That's the problem.
And that's the old adage. As soon as you start going big, you end up with shit that you don't want. From my point of view,
I was just going to say exactly. Whether I'm right or wrong, we'll soon find out. We're still here in a couple of years, but I'm no want to get bigger. I want to get better. So put an older one away for a newer one, and bring in different. Bring in one with a wheelchair lift, that kind of thing. Andy's hit the nail on the head. You get bigger. You need to mind, man, you're running coaches with people on board, you start losing control and that gets out and somebody's injured or killed, you're responsible for that. Your name's on that disc, and it doesn't sit right with me.
No, things need to be done.
They need to be done right.
Is that the norm, or are there like coach operators or owners? I don't really know what it is that you call yourselves, but
are
there some out there that hold an entirely different view and maybe have a higher risk appetite and think, I'll have a yard like all over the UK if I can?
There has been tries. There are a couple of people that I know that will have 1 or 2 yards in neighbouring sort of towns and that, and they do all right. But National Express, it's really geeky now. You talk about what they are. Bus coach geeky, but National Express tried it and went about the past 2 years buying up family businesses all over England who were coach operators and trying to run it, and then have just sank them all because it can't be done. So like National Express, massive company, went, we're going to buy up all these private coach operators, we're going to make a coach network, and within 2 years it's fell flat in its face because you can't have the direct control over coach operations. So you see it with like Stagecoach or Arriva or First, because that's realistically running a service route in Aberdeen, in Glasgow, in Edinburgh, in London, and Ipswich. It's very, very similar. It's practically the same. The industry's the same. As soon as you go from my company to Ross's company to Mains to McNairns to McPhail's, we're all very different. We all do the same stuff, but we're all very different in culture and how we work and how everybody's worked, you know. That's my take on it. I don't know if you're any different.
It's bang on the same, like, just bang on. There's no point in repeating what you've just said, just bang on. It's aye.
And you mentioned about challenges with like more buses. Obviously, you mentioned about the cash reserves you need for that, the maintenance. You need 2 buses for everyone, but you've also mentioned about getting the right people. So when you say getting the right people, is that predominantly drivers that are hard to recruit, or is there any other roles?
For me, it's office staff as well. I mean, the drivers for us, the drivers are the face of the company. They're dealing with the punter. Yeah. I mean, folk don't even know who I am or what I look like. I'm maybe speaking to me on the phone. These guys are at the coal face kind of thing. But I don't know about Andy again, but I'm struggling for decent, and I don't know what it sounds terrible, but decent workforce. Somebody that can drive, be polite, be nice, and they're out there, but they maybe didn't stay in my area.
They tend to be crabbit bastards, a lot of them. You know, when you get on and you're
perception.
like, there's definitely a perception that they're just crabbit. They just sit over the wheel and stare at the front and not really interested in greeting you in any way. Like.
I'm trying to bring in folk that want to work in the industry. Like, I've got a guy there that you're giving a coach to, and he's polishing his coats. Now, I wouldn't fucking polish the coats. To me, clean and tidy, but it's a working tool. Again, but I'm like, fair play, man. Again, keen, showing interest. And you've heard it yourself for a year. Another guy come in, doesn't check it, doesn't even check there's fuel in it. Literally starts up, drives it to the yard, and the thing runs out of fuel. Again, I've run out of fuel. And that's that kind of attitude, like, hey, no my problem, your problem. Fucking run out of fuel, come and get me. Get in and you're like,
is that when you phone Andy? Oh, he's ran out of fuel again. 3 days a term.
I would rather have 8 or 10 motors, 8 or 10 staff, kenning I'm doing it right as best I can. It's have 80 motors and you're sitting going, I wonder if he's turned up, I wonder if that job was alright, I wonder, because as my friend always says to me, your name's on the side of it.
Aye.
Then names on the side of it. I'm not being bad, but somebody like National Express or that, it's no their name, it's a company name. It's Alpha Coaches, it's just a name. Your names are on the side of these things, eh?
Aye, it's his name on ours, so I don't need to worry about it. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
But I mean, like the driver, like that driver decides to cut up a car or flip somebody the bird, eh? But they didn't see the driver, they'll see McDade's Coaches, Bryans Coaches.
That's why I've not even got grey hair, I'm just bald.
Alright, mate, and so I guess, as I touched on, next 5 to 10 years, like, what does the future hold for Bryans Coaches? You've touched on some of it, but what are your ambitions?
I honestly, I've been thinking about this because I kind of knew you were going to ask something like this, but it sounds terrible, but I'm just uncertain with the future in the coach industry now because of PSVR, Euro 6, bigger companies coming in and taking the rear companies. So we're just going to continue doing what we're doing, not getting any bigger, trying to do it right, just try to provide a service. And I'm going to try and shape it into a position or try to that it's viable to sell or buy or whatever. Know that it's got a wee bit here and a wee bit there, and it can. But I'll be honest, and I've not spoke as a family, but I don't know if I would sell it, because again, you get somebody coming in there and running that, your name's still on the side of it, like it, and he could just be saying, fuck you, but and that's where you wonder, would you whittle it down?
Aye.
As my dad spoke during COVID, and he actually said about no shutting it down, but just go down to two coaches, one for him, one for me. Wouldn't it work like?
Is that the main emerging threat you see for like businesses like yours, family run coach? Is just the big dogs coming in?
The bigger boys coming in. And again, we've got like electrification. Again, where my yard is, it's out in the sticks a wee bit. And I'll tell you, and to get the electricity, for the low emission zones, just to get that to my yard, not even to put the substation in the yard to charge the motors. There, I said to Andy, they're looking at over £500,000.
Oh God, aye.
Again, so I'd need to invest in that and invest in a substation. Again, you're on £1 million, and that's before you buy a motor.
Yeah. So if you consider the cost of just buying a new coach to buying a new electric coach,
right? That's what I'm saying.
You're talking, you're no far off 4 times the investment.
Right.
And do you think anything will change with incentivising people to do that?
I don't know, but again, me and Andy speak at meetings with the Confederation of Passenger Transport, but operators are willing to go and buy an electric coach, but they can't charge it anywhere. If you're going to London, they can't charge it anywhere, eh? So I mean, my opinion has been, and you'll laugh because we're coach operators, but I genuinely think with the low emissions thing, see if they left the buses, the coaches, the trucks and the vans, and they done the cars, I think it would help, eh? But as somebody says to me, they'll no noise up the cars because that's voters, eh?
There's going to need to be incentives, otherwise you'll never do it. Why would you choose to dip into your own pocket, exactly, and spend £500,000 to get something to charge your, like, you're not going to. I wouldn't either. So they're going to need to figure out a way at some point.
I agree. I think that will come. I think there will be some of it, but at the moment, I'm not going to look far ahead like you.
Yeah, and maybe the technology isn't there yet either, because like you look at DPD, for example, do the deliveries of parcels. they've got a suite of electric vans, and my other half's brother worked with DPD for years, and you know, he was getting like 120 miles out his van or whatever like that. If it was cold, you know, it was worse.
And having to stop and charge. That's ticking a box, let's be honest. That's ticking a box. That's all they're doing. Like.
I've got all these diesel vans, I've got a couple of electric vans just to...
Aye.
So imagine that. Imagine putting that up to a larger scale, you know, your man who ran out of fuel all the time, imagine him trying to charge a coach.
But 5 to 10 years, I genuinely think we're going to be fine for the next 5-6 years. But in all honesty, like into 10 years, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what the lay of land's going to be in the industry. Andy's already offered me that we'll just sell up and me and him's going to take up the naked butler. There'll be a wee flyer going but it's difficult. Like it's, I mean, like you're saying with bosses, I see it because like I started Coach Aid on a whim, thinking I'll go and buy a van. But I wouldn't go and start a coach company on a whim, thinking I'll go and buy a coach. Different from buying an old Transit to go on and spending £250,000 on a coach like it.
I'm conscious of time, but I do want to ask this question, right? So you've said that there's a huge barrier to entry in the sense that, you know, even to buy a used bus, you're 6 figures, right? But both your dads did it at some point. So what's changed since then? Is it that there's so much regulation involved and that it needs to be more modern and safe, and as a result it's more expensive? So back then they could have bought a heap of shit, put it on the road, got some cash together that way, bought another one, whereas now you can't really do that because it's just the stakes are too high.
That's it in a nutshell. The stuff, I'm sure you'll be the same, but the stuff that used to happen would terrify you. We used to change double-decker tap flare windies with a forklift and a pallet. That was how it happened. That was genuinely how it happened, and that was just accepting. You're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
That was that.
That's what I'm saying. You
couldn't do it.
You're like, holy fuck, you can't do
We
that.
can't be doing that.
Do you think that's maybe what, you know, you were speaking about that company that was trying to buy up all the businesses in England, then folded them all? Do you think they folded them because they've seen all that shit going on and thought, wow?
No, the industry has changed a lot over the past 15, 20 years when we've been in it. Do you know what I mean? It has changed a lot because you get young folk coming in and saying to their dads, you can't do that. It doesn't matter if your name's on the side of the bus. Society's now changed.
I think you've hit the nail on the head though. I think back in the day, like your dads would go out 6 o'clock in the morning and come in at midnight. Like they would literally do a run, onto a school run, onto a hire, go back for the school run, onto a football, and then return the darts team. Right, but you can't do that now. But the wee darts team and the snooker teams, they're not there anymore either. But the other thing is, back then it was done. I think now, like if we said to the wives, look, I'm away for 4 nights, it's not going to wash. But back then, if you didn't come home because you were working, it was just a done thing.
The places that my dad used to reach in Europe as a single driver fucking terrify me now. I was on the buses away and obviously no comprehension until you actually start doing it and you think back and go, how the fuck did you get to Lourdes with one driver?
It's like you hear the stories from my father, like they're abroad and the bus broke down, so the company sent the bus here, but he was in the middle of painting it. Getting up, my father said, this fucking ferry pulls in, the door goes down, off comes this half painted bus. What the fuck? Running one side winding up. But again, you just couldn't do it. Again, it's and then you hear the stories, man, like my dad done a school hire, and this is years ago, again, but there's 42 wains, and my dad's like, I've only got a 33 seater. I school. You rock up and they put 3 in your seat. What the fuck are you doing? But it was a done thing, like, and you just went on with it. You just didn't do it now. You just can't do it now.
You're one picture away from getting cancelled nowadays at any time, aren't you? Like, you know, everybody's automatic reaction when they see something that shouldn't be happening now is grabbing their phone.
Like
to video it or take a picture.
We had it with a coach and it dropped a gasket. Right, and it was pumping out black leak. Now we knew about it, driver phoned in, the coach was empty, we should have went to it, right, but we were like, empty, bring it back to the yard. And before it's even back at the yard, it's all on Facebook, somebody behind it on a car, look, that's fucking, I'm like, no way, man. But lesson learned, next time we say to Ian, like, go and get him. Stop. No, tell him to come home. No, go and get him. But again, lesson learned, lesson learned.
All right, mate. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and just learning a bit more about the coach industry. I always go to say boss, but I've been checked by Andy for fucking 15 years.
Getting bothered about that all the time.
I'm finally there. Well, actually, right, let's, before we wrap up, right, for anybody that's listening that's in the same boat as me, thinking, what's the fucking difference? What is the difference? What's the difference between a boss and a coach?
A coach is, you book it for a private hire. It's executive. It's
more coach.
Coach is better than the boss.
Aye. I wasn't going to say.
It's better than the boss.
Fucking better than boss. A boss is a service boss. You would go stand at a bus stop and go half a mile up the road, get your shopping and come back again. And I'm not being bad, but like a service bus is like a train. You get on, you sit down, you get off.
Right.
But with a coach, you're getting on and you're getting rapport with a driver. You're there all day with that driver.
It's meant to be a better standard
better
of
experience,
service.
better standard of service, and that. Aye.
Also, they can reach 62 mile an hour on the motorway, which I think is a technical thing. Buses can do that now, but years gone by, a service bus didn't. It just wasn't built for that.
A service bus has got to be low floor for the disabled and that, which is fine, but because it's low floor, it's uncomfy. Because of the suspension and all that, whereas a coach is a kind of tourer.
So in its simplest terms then, get you where you need to go quicker,
Fancier,
more comfortably,
Aye.
with a bit more chat and rapport on it.
Aye.
It's ultimately bus snobbery.
Well,
It's bus snobbery.
They use getting a bus going to the football and that.
No, I
haven't
No, it's coaches who use mine.
Well, they use the executive.
I was falling asleep last time I was there.
Must be fucking big seats.
I had a flare in each hand.
I forgot what I was going to say there. They were laughing.
That's okay.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Right.
Do you ever get the coach to the football? Do you ever go in there, a coach?
I go with Andy every now and then. Aye.
So, like I say to folk, you picture like a service bus. Now, would you come from Denny to Parkhead in an all rickety double-decker service bus? No, you're going to use a coach, eh?
Aye.
So you're going to book a coach, eh?
Aye.
But at the end of the day, if they all make money, then you run them anyway.
All right. Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up.
We're still going to have a few mishaps with the bus. It's about to happen.
Well, listen, all. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, and give us a follow on all our socials, and we'll be back next week with another episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining us,
Cheers.
Ross.
Thanks, Ross.
Cheers,
mate.
Ross.